The human circulatory system is what is known as a double circulatory system. And if you look at this diagram, you can see that there are in fact two circuits which are linked together at the heart. So if you look at the top of the diagram, you can see that you've got the pulmonary circulation, which conveys blood from the heart to the lungs and then back to the heart. And towards the bottom, you've got the systemic circulation, and you can see that that conveys blood from the heart to the body to the heart again. And the advantage of a double circulatory system is that it overcomes the problem of a drop in pressure from the blood carrying from the lungs through to the body through the systemic circulation. So the double circulatory system has huge advantages for organisms with a high energy need, for instance mammals who thermoregulate and therefore need lots of oxygen for respiration. This is a more detailed diagram of the layout of the human system. It's obviously nowhere near complete, but it does give some of the main blood vessels. The blood vessels conveying oxygenated blood around the body and from the lungs are coloured red, and the blood vessels returning blood to the heart are coloured blue. And it's quite important at this stage to rid yourself of any notion that arteries only carry oxygenated blood and veins only carry deoxygenated blood, because if you look at the pulmonary circuit, you'll see that there is the pulmonary artery. What's it doing? It's carrying deoxygenated blood, and the pulmonary vein is carrying oxygenated blood. So from now on, when you're looking at the functions of arteries and veins, concentrate on the direction of flow. So if you always remember that arteries carry blood away from the heart and veins carry blood towards the heart, you'll be certain to actually get things the right way round. You can see that linking the arteries and veins, there's what looks like a tangle of spaghetti, and these are actually the vessels involved in gas exchange and also getting nutrients to the cells of the body and collecting waste products. And these are the capillaries. So we've got three types of blood vessel shown on this diagram. We've got the arteries carrying blood away from the heart. We've got the capillaries enabling transport of the oxygen into the cells, and we've got the veins bringing blood back to the heart. In the next session we will be looking in more detail at the differences in structure and function of arteries, veins and capillaries. But for this session we're mainly concerned with just getting our feet under the table and being able to recognise some of the key features of the human circulatory system. It'll be a good idea if you make yourself familiar with the diagram that's here, and also look in the e-copy of the Circulation and Gas Exchange book, which is in your folder on Moodle. And if you do that, you'll very quickly get a feel for the various structures that you've got in the system. This diagram just goes a little bit further, and it shows the different structures of the arteries, and these are things that we'll be amplifying in the next session. And just down the bottom you can see there's an approximate indication of the differences in size between arterioles, which are small arteries, and capillaries. So you can see that capillaries are the smallest of all. You can also see, if you look at the artery on the left and compare it to the vein on the right, that the lumen, that's the space that the blood flows through, is much bigger in the vein than it is in the artery. We'll see the reasons for that in the next session. You've also got some fancy names there. Don't worry too much about those. We'll be going into those in detail. But for now, just be aware that veins and arteries have muscle in the walls of them, whereas capillaries do not. So that's introduced our first session. What you need to do now is to go into Moodle, just have a look at the practice exercise labelling the circulatory system and have a go at it. It is an optional exercise, but if you do it, you will find that it's very helpful in the rest of the unit.